We'll move on now to superintendent items.
Yes, Mr. President and members of the board, I recommend expulsion of the following student from schools within the district. Student 108-129-244. This student would be expelled and would not be eligible to apply for readmission to the district until the last day of the fall semester.
Move approval.
Second. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Unfinished business, school safety, a very important item, and thank you, Kevin Butler, for giving us some press this morning on that very important issue. Staff has prepared several options for us to vote on this evening regarding the addition of staff assistants each of our comprehensive high school sites. Staff has recommended option 2, the 217-day employment, which is currently a feature of our existing staff assistants.
I would like to move approval of this item, and in particular option 2.
Second. Discussion? All in favor? Aye. Thank you one and all. That's very important. New business, renewal of property and liability self-insurance coverage.
I move approval with a big gulp.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Renewal of excess worker compensation coverage.
I move approval.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Renewal of excess liability coverage and the optional excess insurance program.
Approval.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Report of board members. Mrs. Stanton?
I would just like to report I had a wonderful visit up at Jordan, and I discovered that Jordan Band is going to be one of the only bands in Long Beach District who has been invited to the Home Depot Battle of the Bands. And I had a little preview of what they were doing, and my ears were ringing afterwards, but it was fascinating to see what's going on up at Jordan, and it's coming up. I don't have the date, but as soon as we have the date, we'll get that, because it should be fun.
They didn't play past 10 o'clock at night. Did they?
No. It was early in the morning, but they were good.
With all due respect, Viola. Dr. Barton.
Yes, I'd like to thank Dr. Elliott and her staff for preparing a report on students who've been placed out of state, students with extraordinarily difficult behavioral problems, and it is a very comprehensive report, and it'll take me a few days to plow through it, but I appreciate that because it is a very important issue and one that's sensitive, and I look forward to reviewing that document, and I appreciate that. And the only other thing is I would wish everyone a happy Halloween and urge them to vote next week.
Yes, yes.
Dr. Williams.
Yes, Mr. President, I have 3 quick items. One, the Principal for a Day is coming up on November 9th, and that is a great event for the district, bringing in a number of people throughout the city to see what actually goes on in the classrooms. And for a number of people, I know it's a revelation to see what exactly is going on in our schools. And is Judy still here? Judy still does a magnificent job in putting that event together each year. I know I send out the invitations to all of our deans over at City College, and a number of staff will get involved and come back and share with me how grateful they are and appreciative of the experience they get from being involved in Principal for a Day. And although I've been involved with it for all these years, I still get a kick out of going into Principal for a Day each year. The other piece is a conference that a group called Academic Uprise is going to be putting on, and I did talk with Mary about making this announcement because it's at Jordan High School in her district. Reverend Pearson, who has done a fantastic job in bringing this group together to talk about issues of young people in the city. And that will be held on the 18th of November, again at Jordan High School. And I do hope we get a number of people who come out for this event. The last item is the recent conference in the Council of Great City Schools that was recently held in San Diego. Amazing to go down and see so many of our people who are now working down in San Diego for Carl Cohen. But it's a conference comprised of the urban school districts in the United States. And we did have some staff who did presentations that day. And I think one of the highlights of the conference was the presentation by Bill Moyer, who talked about the some major shifts in economics in terms of income and how that's affecting middle class people in the United States. The shift from the tax burden from the upper class to the middle class and devastating impact that's having on the middle class in terms of all the things that go on with the middle class. So it was a very excellent conference. And of course, as I said, we had a number of our people who attended that conference. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Ellis.
Yeah, I'd like to chime in on the academic uprise issue. As a former Panther myself, Jordan Panther, I'm very excited about the upcoming event, especially in the sense that it's bringing the stakeholders in the community together to focus on how we can improve education in Long Beach. Something else really positive that I wanted to highlight is a school in my area, and that is Renaissance High School. So here you go, TV folks. Is having, they're putting on a production of Grease at the Long Beach Performing Arts Center on the same day. But I think this is an evening event, so you can actually go to Jordan and then travel down Atlantic and end up right there at the Long Beach Town Center, if you dare to travel all the way down Atlantic. In any event, that is something that I look forward to attending, and I hope as many folks as possible can come and support Renaissance High School on that. You can check with Ticketmaster, and the number will be running along the bottom of the screen, right, Mr. Sharp? In any event, I do have a couple concerns. We did have a few things in the purchasing contract that were no-bid contracts, emergency contracts, and those are sometimes warranted. But I just wanted to point out that that sometimes can raise some eyebrows, and I hope that we will always make certain that there aren't any other viable options in terms of getting bids out there when we do these emergency contracts, because you can actually waste a lot of money when you do emergency contracts, as I'm sure the staff and the board is well aware. I did visit Franklin last week, and they shared many of the same concerns that have been shared at some of the other sites. Let me start by saying that Franklin seems to be doing very well. They've got a lot of good things that they're working on. They have, as has been noted in the past, moved to the classical model. They're trying to adopt the same strategies that Hill had adopted and that Hill found success with, and I find that very encouraging. A problem, though, seems to be sort of pervasive within the district is the vermin issue. It was confirmed to me that they do have rodent problems at Franklin as well as at Roosevelt, and I mentioned before at Stevenson. So I'm going to be asking that the staff prepare a report on custodial staffing at each site over the last, particularly this year, but I'd also like to know over the last 5 years, because I'd like to know if we've had custodial staffing cuts that have impacted the cleanliness of our classrooms and, frankly, the safety of our students. And I see some CSEA folks chiming in on that. And we would like to hear that. So if there are members of CSEA or people who are intimately involved with custodial services in Long Beach Unified, it would be very nice if they would report to us at the next meeting when we get this report as well, so we can really get a full view of what's going on at the sites.